Why do some people succeed while others fail? For a long time, educators, psychologists, and the public assumed that success was almost entirely a matter of intelligence, namely having a high IQ, intelligence quotient. However, the insights shared by psychologist Angela Duckworth challenge that traditional belief. The core argument is that the single most important predictor of long-term success is not talent, intelligence, physical health, or social charm. Instead, it is a psychological trait called grit. In this video, we break down this powerful concept, how it was discovered, why it matters, and how we can try to develop it. 1. The classroom discovery that challenged IQ. The journey to understanding grit began in the classroom. When working as a 7th grade math teacher in the New York City public schools, a pattern quickly emerged. 7th grade math involves challenging topics like ratios, decimals, and calculating the area of a geometric shape like a parallelogram. Naturally, some students picked up these ideas faster than others. But as the school year progressed, a surprising trend surfaced. The smartest students were not always the top performers. Some of the kids with extremely high IQs were getting mediocre or even poor grades. The hardest working students excelled despite lower initial talent. Many students who didn't seem to have natural mathematical genius were achieving top scores because they simply put in the hours, studied diligently, and kept trying until they understood the concepts. These observations led to a profound realization. The material taught in middle school math is not impossible to learn. Every student has the intellectual capacity to grasp it if they dedicate enough time and effort to the task. However, standard education systems are heavily obsessed with measuring IQ. While IQ measures how quickly and easily someone can learn new information, it does not measure a student's motivation, emotional resilience, or psychological drive. This realization prompted a career shift from teaching to psychology in order to study what truly drives human achievement from a motivational and psychological perspective. Number 2, searching for the secret ingredient of success. To understand what makes people succeed in highly stressful, high-pressure environments, extensive research was conducted across diverse groups of people. The goal was always the same: who succeeds here and why? Several intense settings were studied to find the common thread of success. Researchers studied incoming cadets undergoing grueling physical and mental training. They wanted to predict which cadets would endure the harsh environment and which ones would drop out. Researchers studied young children competing at the highest level of spelling. They attempted to predict which children would push through the intense practice and advance the furthest in the competition. Researchers looked at new teachers working in highly economically disadvantaged neighborhoods. They asked which teachers would manage to stay in their teaching jobs until the end of the year, and which of those survivors would be the most effective at helping their students learn. Researchers partnered with corporate businesses to study salespeople, seeking to find out who would keep their jobs and bring in the highest revenue. In every single one of these vastly different areas, from military survival and academic competitions to professional sales and difficult teaching environments, one key characteristic consistently predicted success. It wasn't how friendly they were, how attractive they were, how healthy they were, or how smart they were on paper. It was grit. 3. What exactly is grit? Grit is a specific psychological concept that can be broken down into a few main ideas. Grit means having a deep, long-term passion for a goal and the perseverance to stick with it over time. It is not about being excited about a project for a weekend. It is about loving what you do so much that you want to keep doing it for years. Gritty people have mental stamina. They do not give up when things get boring, repetitive, or difficult. Grit means treating your future as a reality that you must build day in and day out. Gritty individuals work hard not just for a week or a month, but for years to turn their dreams into reality. Life is a marathon, not a 100-meter sprint. A sprinter runs as fast as they can for a short distance and then stops. A marathon runner paces themselves, endures pain and exhaustion, and keeps moving forward over a vast distance. To test this theory on a larger scale, a study was conducted with thousands of high school juniors in the Chicago public schools. The students completed a basic questionnaire designed to measure their levels of grit. The researchers then waited more than a year to see who actually graduated. The results were clear. The grittier students were significantly more likely to graduate high school. This held true even when comparing students of similar family incomes, similar standardized test scores, and similar levels of safety at school. Grit was the decisive factor. 4. The gap in our scientific knowledge. Perhaps the most surprising and frustrating thing about grit is how little we actually know about how to build it. Parents, business leaders, and teachers constantly ask how to instill a strong work ethic and keep kids motivated for the long haul. The honest scientific answer is that we still do not have a perfect formula for creating grit. However, research has clearly established one very important fact: talent does not make you gritty. The data shows that there are countless highly talented people who do not follow through on their commitments. In fact, when looking closely at the statistics, grit is often completely unrelated to talent. Sometimes it is even inversely related, meaning highly talented people are occasionally less gritty because things have always come easily to them, so they never learned how to cope with failure or struggle. Number 5, the growth mindset solution. While we do not have a complete instruction manual for building grit, the best current framework we have is an idea called the growth mindset. This concept was developed by Dr. Carol Dweck at Stanford University. It centers on a simple but powerful belief: your ability to learn is not fixed. It can grow and change with effort. When children learn about the biological functions of the brain, they discover that the brain actually forms new connections and grows stronger when they struggle with difficult problems. This science-backed understanding completely changes how children view failure. Under a fixed mindset, failure is a permanent verdict. If you fail a test, you believe you are simply bad at math and should give up. Under a growth mindset, failure is a temporary state. It is proof that you are learning. When you make a mistake, you realize that your brain is growing, which gives you the emotional strength to try again. Having a growth mindset is a wonderful starting point for building grit, but it is not the complete answer. To truly understand and cultivate this trait in our schools, workplaces, and homes, we must adopt a gritty attitude toward the problem itself. We have to take our best ideas and strongest intuitions, put them to the test, and measure our results. We must be entirely willing to fail, learn from our mistakes, and start over again with better data. If we want our children and ourselves to succeed in the long marathon of life, we must be willing to persevere through the slow, difficult process of learning how to build grit.